There you go.
I call this meeting of wastewater authority to at 5:32 to order. We will start with roll call.
President Gabehart,
Here.
Secretary Duval, absent. Treasurer Parker.
Yeah.
Director Wager.
Here.
And Director
Brown.
Here. Director Brown.
Director, whatever. Still.
Be nice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent. We will amend the agenda to add Brightwater Engineers contract as item C under general business. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
I'll approve the motion of the agenda. To be amended as the agenda.
Yeah. Got it.
There you go. I'll second it. Exactly what we meant.
This is gonna be a long.
I know
that.
I am not gonna say more.
We got two.
Motion's been made
On Monday on a Tuesday.
to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Excellent. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent.
Second? I'll second. Motion's been made and seconded to approve consent items. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll open the floor for public comments. Anybody on Zoom like to public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to staff reports. Looks like, administrator, that would be Kim.
We can strike grant updates off of that because we'll be discussing it under the general business. For that addition there. Safe water protection plan for those on the board that have not been attending the meetings for that. We are winding that down. So I think we're on meeting 5 was our last one. And now we're finalizing the safe water protection plan with Colorado Rural Water. So we'll get a draft of that hopefully by your next meeting that we could put in your packet and you can review that for the next meeting. And when we're done with that one, we should have a $5,000 grant coming to us, okay? And then there's another step in this, and I'm not quite sure what that is yet. I'll figure that out with them, but that would qualify us for another $5,000. So in total, we should be getting $10,000 in grant money. Now, of course, that has to go towards something that protects your water system. So the water guys and I had to talk back and forth in the month prior, and there is a need for cameras on your pump house inside and on your water tower. Right now, you have a game camera up on your water tower that's monitoring it. I have contacted an emergency network that does our security system for the town. They had told us when they put Wi-Fi in Northern Park, there's a possibility because of how high it is, that they could connect it from there to the tower so that they would all connect in together. So I do have them coming out next week to go to the tower and see what it would cost to install cameras up there permanently at the water tower. And then that quote would go to Colorado Rural Water to substantiate using that $5,000 for that. So, yeah, it's a process, it's all a process, but you know, little by little, it's all coming together.
I say with our water plan, we had great attendance of those that were invited. So
Yeah, we really have.
Now it's-
So it's great. I think it's gonna be a really good comprehensive plan for you guys. And it'll open us up to more grant money in different areas too, having that in our back pocket. You know? So. That's it, that's all I got right now.
That's it? Wow.
Well,
Yeah. Excellent. We'll move on to Wolf. Welcome, gentlemen.
Say they're all three there.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Give us an update.
So good news with the wastewater plant. We did get the new pumps have landed. and they landed way sooner than I expected them to. So I'm unfortunately not completely ready to drop them in the reactor. I have a couple more things to put back together first, but I intend to do that this week. As far as the other item that was a little up in the air was running the new water line down to the plant. And I got the quote back from Core Maine at $2,700. And that's all the pipe and fittings that we need, just short of the tap for the main. And I won't know that one yet because I have to dig it up to see what size it is first. But I was pretty pleased with that. It was way cheaper for all the materials than I was expecting. So we can move forward that project, I think, pretty easily. Otherwise, I don't think I have too much more to touch base on.
That's good news.
Things are looking up.
Yes.
Oh, there's one other thing. I've been battling trying to shut the water off for the old apartment buildings off of, I can't remember what highway it was, but on the east side of town there, because they have that leaking valve underneath in their crawl space. And that one is proving to be extremely difficult to turn off. Any valve that I found for it is all for the high pressure lines in the area, as well as even back behind the building. There's meter pits for the other units, but there doesn't seem to be anything for that. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if there's no curb stop for it at all. So we might end up looking at having to do a pretty widespread shut off and a boil notice to be able to change that valve. There hasn't been a real consensus yet, I suppose, on what we want to do about that. But that's kind of the one thing that's stewing, as it were.
Yeah, we're working
told Sasha earlier that I thought that all the valves were down there in the unit D.
on. Yeah, and he said that it's not.
It's not.
Nope.
I tried to shut off unit D and it didn't seem to do anything for the water in what is the unit we're working on, but yeah, it didn't seem to shut it off.
Yeah.
Well, I live in unit A.
So I did send that to him.
Excellent. Those are the reports we like.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
They're getting shorter and shorter.
Right?
Yeah. There's a little less chaos.
It's great. Excellent. We will move on to Sasha.
To me. Okay, well, mine is pretty easy too. The system total report, we are showing a little bit more loss, 18.7, but I think part of that is that leak that we have going on, that we're trying to track down how to stop it. But it's still not crazy, so we'll take it. I sent out 2 shut-off notices and 7 overdue notices. So hopefully those will all get taken care of. Last month, everybody paid, so we've got less this month, which is nice. And we've just been working with, like I said, working with the guys trying to figure out those couple things. So, but other than that, we're doing good. So,
Thank you.
Positive.
yep. Oh, and I sent out I sent that watering notice. So hopefully everybody got it.
Any feedback from that?
Nope. No
Oh,
one. Nope.
I do have one additional note if I can squeeze in.
Sure.
It looked like the well level has significantly recovered. It seems to be back up to 57 to 60 feet. So I don't know if that's just the recent moisture we've had, but it's definitely not nearly as low as it was. So that's some good news on the drought outlook.
Yeah.
That is good.
Absolutely.
We will take.
Well, it's good news that we have record of that now, so we'll know whether the drawdown is a normal thing or still.
Yeah, well, especially going forward, because we'll be able to keep track of it much better now. So.
Good news tonight. That's what I like. Look forward.
Yes, we.
Yeah.
Moving on to general business, we will cover policy 24-100, division of work and expense revised.
You want me to go ahead and speak to this? And Mike's on, so Mike can add to it if he needs to. So we've been going through a series of repairs. As they're working through and installing the rest of the meters. We're finding that there's a lot of meter pits that are buried under landscaping, that's significantly buried under landscaping. So we have that issue. And then we've had some yolks, spring leaks again, that have caused angry citizens. And we have a policy in place right now, and I was there, I know why we put this in place. But having a different ORC company now gives a different perspective than what Paul was giving us on this. And as they're working through these, they've been hesitant to do a lot of these. And Mike explained to me that once they do these repairs, then there is a expectation of warranty on them should something happen. So it keeps coming full circle back to us, and we keep spending the money on something that we shouldn't really be doing the repairs on. Mike, you jump in here whenever you want or need to, but what they've explained to me, they've never had a municipality where the municipality has borne the cost of that. Now, meters are one thing, but the cost of the yoke or the cost and having a policy that doesn't clearly lay out something that they physically have done that has caused a problem that we are going in and fixing just for the sake of getting the meter in the ground. We're spending a lot of money, and we're spending on average of $4,000 to $6,000 for each one. And that should not be money that's coming out of the to do that.
Wasn't that the policy though, that we had in place before? I mean, we
It
talked
is.
about changing
It
it, but
is.
yeah, we were responsible for those.
Yeah, we took the responsibility of those. And that's not what other municipalities do. So we've kind of taken on a cost or felt that we should, and it's really biting us in the butt. Those aren't things that we're affecting and making happen, but we're taking a responsibility on them, fixing them. And then we're taking it a step further by fixing them, because if they break again or something happens, then there's the expectation that we'll come back and do it again. And we had one particular one over on Navajo that was kind of a nasty little thing there for a few. But we got it worked out in the end, and it turned out golden. We split the costs there, but after that, we had a long discussion, and I talked to Paul Polito at the lawyer's office, and they also agreed that there should be a revision to that policy. So what we're seeing is the revision that the lawyer's office is proposing based on the conversations that Mike and I have had, and the corresponding resolution to approve it, should you guys choose to approve it.
What's the average cost on the goats now, roughly?
Oh, Stephen, what was the cost of those? I don't.
I just bought one today. They're $407.
Yeah,
For the cost and
so
then
that's just the
install?
go,
Yeah,
so when we run into these problems too, keep in mind that they could be doing them on the days that they're out here and getting them done under their contract. But if we got other stuff that, like, we've been trying to get the sewer plant back up and going where it needs to be, then they're taking extra time to have to do that. So that's their time that we're paying for, the cost of the yoke. Sometimes excavating equipment, depending on where it's at. We're running into, cause it's Kiowa and it's older town. We've got a policy that dictates from the curb stop to the meter is our responsibility. And then from the meter to the house is theirs. But we're running into a lot of them not even having curb stops.
right, yeah.
So we're having to install curb stops now, which also are costing us a lot of money. So this is a proposal division to that division of work and comp that is more equitable to where we should be and what we should be taking responsibility to repair and burn
So this changes that we're no longer responsible for the yolks, is that?
for the yokes. Yes.
Anything else?
No, we left the meters in there because meters are pretty standard. But the yoke is not something, after talking to other municipalities, it's not something that they take the shoulder of. We've taken the step to add it in there. And Mike,
I would love to jump in. As far as how you've explained it, you're exactly right. If the district did not have that customer, that tap wouldn't exist, and therefore there wouldn't be a cost to the rest of the district. So anything that is past the corp stop, if you can get away with it, or curb stop if you can't, that is the responsibility of the customer and should not be shouldered by the rest of the um, ratepayers that you have. So anytime you run into these things, what would be best practice and something to put into policy is when you have a leak and we have services that have to come out, if your current services don't meet specs, at that time we'll give you a notice stating you have to update and meet new specs. And if that's a curb stop that you don't have, that you have to have, that's the time when we will catch it, cite it, and we will let you know that yes, we're out here for this reason. While we were out here, we found this, this, and this was wrong. These things need to be fixed, and it is your cost. That's how every other district works that we work with and that I have managed in the past.
Well, and I think it's a good thing for our water system too, because then we have ways to shut off that
Right.
house. Ways, because.
right, which we have had in the past.
Right.
You know,
So-
we've always, Teresa lives here, she knows,
Yeah,
when they do repairs, oftentimes when Paul was doing them, we were shutting off the entire town,
right.
half the town. We haven't had to do that once since they've been here
Yeah.
and making all these repairs.
Well,
So-
and there still should be some sort of language in there stating if the customer refuses to do it after notified, the authority will do it after 30 days and bill the customer, and there will be no warranty of the work. That language should still be in there, so you still have the right to do it and force them into it. But yeah, she's right. You should not be offering those services because you're going to end up having to warranty those services, and you don't want to have to do that.
And I'll tell you a situation we ran into that prompted this. We had on a Friday, somebody called, I think it was a Friday, Sasha, was it a Friday or Thursday? I think it was a Thursday. 'cause she
I think it
was
was-
up here.
Yeah, I think it was a Thursday.
It was coming into the weekend. They found a leak at the house that they deemed our responsibility. And I'm like, if it's in your house, that's not our responsibility. So then it ended up, well, I found it at the yoke and I started digging it up. So now they've dug it up, put their hands on the infrastructure. Don't know what they've done with the infrastructure. But now they're demanding that the town come out and fix that for them. It's late in the afternoon on Thursday. The guys are gone. Now it's a call out. It's an emergency call out after hours. We're getting charged after hours call out for them coming back into town to do it. And, we're having to pay for the materials and everything else to do it. So it also happened to be after the last meeting when we're talking about the drought. And it is leaking at a rate of 60 gallons a minute. So we need to shut that water off because it's leaking out at 60 gallons a minute. And I told them they need to call a plumber. That didn't fit right with them. They didn't want to pay for a plumber. They wanted us to do it at no cost to them. Screaming and yelling doesn't faze me. So I just told them, I said, I have somebody coming out tomorrow because Josh is here on Fridays. He does meter install on Fridays sometimes. And I told him, I'll give you till tomorrow to make a decision on how you want to handle this. But if you haven't made that decision by tomorrow, I'm gonna shut your water off. Because I can't, during a drought, feasibly let you knowingly have 60 gallons a minute going into the ground. So it was a very volatile situation. They were very verbally abusive to Sasha, town staff, the water people. And so I kind of reached a happy medium with them. They had a lot of personal issues going on at that time, so that played a lot of part in how it all played out. We just agreed to split the cost on it, okay? The guys went ahead and got it done, we got the water back on. There were elderly people living in that home and small people living in that home that just moved in. A full house of people with no water, and I believe it was a holiday weekend too. If I
Maybe.
remember right. Anyway, that's how this all came about and blew up, and we had a long talk after that. Because the guys are gonna keep getting pulled away from what they're paid to do here to make repairs so that nobody has to burden themselves with it. But it's really, like Mike says, it's burdening the whole town. It's affecting the cost of the services we provide. Because it's constantly, our costs are constantly going up because of it, and it shouldn't be. So,
I think we need to put that provision in there if the
Mhm.
customer refuses not to pay.
I agree,
Because we're gonna run into that,
we are, and we almost did with that,
yeah.
So. I think it's a good idea, you know, if you want to approve it with the recommended revision by Wolf Compliance.
I agree. I think.
And I'm sorry, just a question for you, Kim. Is there anything in there stating, yes, this is your responsibility from this point on for any repairs, any services that are needed? Is there any language stating they can't do any work to that portion of the line without inspection by the association?
I believe so, let me. I'll have to look at it.
Yes.
Okay, you just want to make sure if they are gonna do the work, they're gonna let us know and they're gonna let us inspect it so we know it's meeting our regs.
Yeah, because that was also part of the argument, because he was claiming to be a GC himself. And he was just gonna do it himself, and I'm like, you cannot put your hands on town infrastructure without oversight from the people.
I think you put it,
Um,
I think.
So, Michael, what I can do is I can email you a copy of this and you can take a look at it and add in or check for that. I think there is something about the inspection because it'll be shut off till it's inspected, but I'll send it to you and then you can add in the piece that we need.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, and you know, we also have our fee schedule violation amounts. So we put it in the policy, we pass the policy, they put their hands on the infrastructure, they mess with the infrastructure. Then we violate them. It's like the whole water issue that we, you know, and it'll keep compounding unfortunately. But I don't think there's any other, there are few and far between situations, and I don't think there's another way to get a handle on it. And start reducing the cost to the authority without doing something like this.
I agree, so I think we can pass this resolution with the amendments suggested by Mike from Wolfie's.
Yeah, I'll email it to him tonight.
I just have a couple of questions.
Okay.
On this, the different parts of this resolution, actually the attachment. There's certain things in here that, there needs to be some definition more of like, what is the size of a backhoe scoop? How deep a pit has to be, I mean, what's the size of a pit? Is it 24-inch, or is that width, is that height, what is it? So,
create a section for definitions.
yes, and I think if Wolf people can help us with these kind of things, and, or some of the tube, the size of the tubing and the kind of
Oh,
tubing.
so like where it says meter pit must be 24 inches.
Yeah,
You want that to be like
well,
defined out.
it's all in the whole section here about from meters, water line, service lines, the sewer line services, all that through there, that the definitions are vague. They aren't set out, and I think they need, because, I mean, it's just kind of generalized. I'm trying to find the one about the size of the of the bucket scoop.
Well, like page 4, number 8, are you referring like something like class 6 squeegee?
Well, not only that, or they say a material, a virtual a minimum of coverage. What's coverage? And that's down there, number 9 on page 4. It says a minimum virtual or a vertical coverage is required over the water service line. What is coverage? Is there special? Is it dirt? Is it styrofoam? Is it, what is it? There's so many things in here that are so vague and not descriptions of exact dimensions, things like that. That's why, some of the stuff is still in here. And then also, like, there's another couple of them about where it says the water marking tape must be purchased from the authority at $55 on a roll. I mean, that's number 8 of page 4.
Oh, number 5.
Well, there's the minimum feet of the meter pit. Well, we don't know. There's a lot of different things within in those sections of the meters, the service water line, the sewer line.
Well, I think some of this could be considered industry standard, based on good industry practices that well pass inspection.
Which we already passed, I think, for the last meeting between us, Mike and Chris. Well,
Yeah, because they sent that, we passed that big thing that they sent.
Technical.
Yeah.
Mike, are you hearing the conversation we're having?
I am.
Does he have a copy of this?
No,
Okay,
I can send it to him.
I think, Mike. Director Brown is referring back to this policy, which I understand you don't have a copy in front of you right now. She feels that there should be like a better definitions to some of the technical aspects of this policy. And maybe it's covered in your technical specs that we passed last meeting, the meeting before.
Couple minutes
There,
ago.
there are a plethora of definitions in that, and if it's referring to those, then yes, they are there. But yeah, if I'm not able to review what you're looking at currently, but
Right.
Right.
So maybe if we change, maybe not even just bulk up this, maybe if we just simply say, refer to that document
For definition.
or for definitions.
But do we have to note that there's
We would
certain?
have to note that in this.
Yeah,
That
but I
it's,
mean,
that it's based off, that information can be found in, we have the same thing in the building permits. There's certain building permit stuff that is not in our code because it's in the International Building Code, which is universal.
okay,
And it refers back to that universal building code.
Right.
So-
Rather than putting it all out there.
well, I understand. So do we have to amend any of these statements in here or because they're vague and they're,
Yeah, I don't know if
Different.
we'd have to amend, this was done by the lawyer's office.
Yeah.
So
So I'll have Michael
we
look
can have
at
a
it.
discussion with Paul.
okay, now what, that's what I'm saying is.
Yeah, I'll have Michael look at
Because
it.
they're the ones that are more familiar with what the definitions and terminology and also what are the codes.
Yeah, I think they're more familiar with the codes, but I would probably feel that Paul would refer back to Mike and then for the technical expertise.
So
Yeah,
do you
so
think
I'll
it should
send
be
it to
written
Mike.
into this document
I don't
here?
think it should be written in this document. I think it should be referred
Referred
to
to?
the other document,
Okay,
which is
Because
much more
your
extensive.
permit is under international building code, so
Okay.
you have to follow those codes and it's defined in those codes.
I
And
have,
those are
Okay.
very large documents.
Right.
so-
They're
right, maybe-
huge.
and maybe there has to be a blanket statement saying
Yeah.
that any of
Oh.
these specific
Mhm.
things,
This information can be found in, or this
Yeah.
information is based off.
right. I have
Very
another
true.
question too, though, is that about on page 3 of this document, talks about, the authority reserves the right to require master meter services for like the condos and the apartments and things like that.
Sam,
That, after talking to Paul today, we were talking about how do you limit? I mean, that's kind of a strange thing, because that's what you had happen, you didn't, right, Tammy, where all of a sudden somebody was using a lot of water, and then everybody in that complex, because it's on a master service, you all had to eat part of that
it's
expense.
actually not a problem for the authority to work out. That's actually a problem for the owner of that building to work
Oh,
out.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not our problem.
All right,
Our
so,
problem is only what amount is the usage being used by
Used.
that building,
okay,
and we bill for that.
okay,
What, if something's happening there that's causing an increase, it's no different than an individual residence. If Sasha's doing billing and she sees that it jumped from 3,000 gallons one month to 60,000 gallons, she's gonna see that right now because it's a small town and she can look at them individually like that, but she'll flag that and then she'll call the guys and the guys will go over there, or she'll have a conversation with the owner of the house and say, hey, I noticed this month that you usually run about 3,000 gallons a month, but this month it jumped to 60,000 gallons. That usually is what we see when it's suggested you have a leak somewhere that you don't
right,
know about.
right.
So we would make it incumbent on them to contact a plumber or to start, Sasha will walk them through, here's the common areas that you'll find it.
Leaky
Check those.
toilets.
If you don't find anything, you need to call a plumber to come out and see if they can find it. But you've got this problem, we're telling them now, we've identified it, and now we've transferred that monkey from our shoulder over to their shoulder. And that makes it not our problem. Our problem is now just to bill it,
Oh, okay,
unfortunately,
okay.
you know,
So can I ask, how long has that been leaking, do you know? Cause Kelly called me a couple years ago, I think in 24, and asked me if there was a leak in our unit, and I went around taking pictures of everything. all
And
connected.
see, and I haven't seen it on your end.
No.
I haven't seen it on your end.
no
Yeah, so
idea.
I told her at that time, I said, you know what, I said, if anything, it should be lower usage in our unit, because my son travels all the time.
Yeah.
I said, he's gone.
You got less people. in.
Yeah, I don't see it in your, I don't see it
Yeah.
linking up in your building, so that's why we're concerned about where it is, so.
Yeah, the only responsibility that lies on the authority is, and even if Sasha doesn't identify it, because she's one person looking through almost 400 accounts, one by one, and sometimes things are missed when you
Yeah.
do that manually, one by one. It's still, the bill still gets to the homeowner, who then sees, oh my God, they just billed me
Yes.
for 60,000.
Yes.
And then they call me.
You know, at some point, there's gotta be responsibility transferred to a grown adult at that place.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if she doesn't catch it, and they'll call them
They
again
do.
because she didn't call them first.
Yeah, they do.
I'm sorry that happens.
Yeah.
But
I'm really sorry.
now you've got your bill and you know it.
Yeah.
And now you could call Sasha, be mad about it. Now she's still gonna walk you down the same path and the same thing's gonna happen.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, leaky toilets are a big one. Leaking behind the fridge. The people who have ice makers.
Oh.
The hose will start leaking behind the fridge. That's a big one.
So-
So,
yeah, it's just the nature of the beast. And our only responsibility is to read the meter, bill it, and then let them know you got a problem if we catch it first. And if you catch it first, call us and we can tell you what you could probably do to mitigate it, or what you need to do
Mhm.
based off our policy now. It's getting that monkey off our shoulder. We've been taking responsibility for way too long. It's costing us money, and we got too many other things. They wanna keep flushing their toilet and having to go in somewhere. We need the money properly going where it needs to go. Rather than fixing everybody's.
Yeah.
Everybody's got problems.
So that is part of that agreement. They said that the master meter service is governed by a separate written agreement between the authority and the property owner type of thing. Okay.
We have complexes like that. I'll be honest with you, we're facing it right now, Each village has their own permit. They have their own system. And they should have been monitoring and managing their own system
Mhm.
for a long time. There should be a master meter on that mobile home park.
There isn't?
There is not. And we're working through that with the lawyer's office
Wow.
and the guys right now on what that looks like. Cause that mobile home park is costing us a lot of money. Most of your repairs in the winter are coming from the mobile home park. Those meters are not protected like they are in all the houses. And they're the ones freezing. They're the ones we're repeatedly replacing because they freeze over and over and over. And if it's gonna be that way, then that needs to be their monkey, not our monkey.
Right.
So we are figuring out how to get a master meter in there too. And that way Sasha will bill to one bill. And then they will be responsible for collecting that money from everybody that leases from them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and that'll reduce the workload on them too, you know. And the extra we're paying for having them out there constantly,
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, I think that would alleviate a lot of headaches.
a lot.
Discuss that. So,
We've gotten a lot of good information since these guys have come in. We haven't gotten
Oh, I
in the
know,
past years.
I know.
And once they say it, I'm like, that totally makes sense. What the heck, you know?
Well, there's a sharing of the information too, and educating us
Yeah.
and we're educating them about what's going on in Kiowa, what's the history of different things, but.
Yeah.
Been very, very valuable, very valuable.
I agree. Wait on passing this, we'll see all the revisions.
I mean, I don't have a problem passing it with the revisions suggested by Michael. today.
That way it starts today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have
get
to
it
fall
placed.
back
We're
on
not
it.
waiting another month.
It's a working document at this point, but at least it's approved, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so and I'll send it to Michael tonight when we're done with this meeting.
Okay.
If we're comfortable with that, that's. We will, entertain a motion with, the revisions, suggested from Michael will comply.
To pass the resolution.
Yes.
Approving the policy, which should be an attachment to the resolution.
It is.
To the vote, okay.
Yes, so if they approve the
They're just listed on the
resolution,
Agenda as two separate items.
I know, because it was a little wiggle woggle for a little while.
So we
So-
can approve them both in one resolution.
Yes.
right?
Yes,
So we can approve,
Yes.
both resolutions.
I'll make a motion to approve item A, policy 24-100, division of work and expenses. And also B, resolution 2026-03, resolution amending policy 24-100 concerning division of water work and expenses with Michael's revision.
Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion on table, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. Thank you, Kim, for that one. And that, that's a huge one, I think.
Yeah.
All right, item C, right water engineer, contract exhibit for engineering services for the,
It's the appropriated money. We're trying to gain access to the appropriated money that we've been awarded. And I think in previous meetings, I've explained that all of us that received appropriated money found out at one very large meeting with the EPA, because that's where your money's coming from, is the Environmental Protection Agency, which is a federal agency. When it becomes federal, it becomes very convoluted most of the time.
surprise.
We all were told we were appropriated this money, and we were. It's guaranteed money. But EPA has to get the same documentation from us as they do anybody else applying for a grant from them, because they have to have a file to work off of with all the same information. In order to do that, it's a very extensive application. It could take up to 120 days to get through the process. And a lot of that is very technical information they're looking for that only an engineer can do. I can't create this in my head. So Right Water has been with me through this process. They attended that first meeting, which was about 84 people on that meeting. And it's everybody who's applied and were granted money through the EPA and everybody who got congressional funding. And Right Water had some meetings after I went on leave with them personally on what they're looking for. And one of the big items they're looking for is our engagement with an engineering firm that will create the scope of services. It's a work plan that they're looking for from them as to how we're going to. So I'm looking at this right here, Laurel, on the
Okay.
second page in the.
Yes,
scope of
thank you.
services. Yeah. That scope of services on how we get from point A to point whatever has to be done by the engineers that are designing the system, not by me. So this is their proposal. This also includes the meetings we've already had, just so you know. Okay, so this is not over and above the 4 or 5 meetings and that large meeting. This includes what we've already done up to this point, in addition to what they still need to do to get that work plan done and approved by EPA so that we can get through this initial process and get our hands on that money. DOLA did approve us for that first phase of funding. So we're getting back that $1 million slowly, but we have to have that matched to this congressional funding to be able to utilize it. So we've been awarded it and now it's sitting on hold. The clock doesn't start ticking until this is done and both of them are going together. Okay, so we're not losing out on it like we did last time, because we didn't lose it, because we didn't use it. It is just sitting there awarded. But Right Water's trying to get us to the point where we could start doing something. And we can only do that once we finish EPA's process. So that's what this proposal is for. This is not an egregious amount for what needs to be done. And the fact that it also includes past work that they've already done and not billed for. So I'm sorry this wasn't in your packet. They just got it to us about an hour or so ago, or hour or so before the meeting. You can-
So the total invoice amount should not exceed more than 10% of the estimated professional fee of $25,000.
Yes, sir.
Which will be part of that grant funding?
No,
Okay, this
Nope.
is separate,
because it's
This-
work done
this-
before we got the grant.
part of our match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I could go in, when I go in, if I apply for more funding, I can leverage funds, you know. I can say, we've done this work and we've spent $25,000 already toward it. So that will go down on paper that way. So it'll look like the authority's already, and has already spent $25,000 toward this project. So that helps us.
Makes sense.
Any other questions?
No,
Laurel?
No.
Excellent. We're motion to approve the exhibit A from Right Water Engineers.
I'll make a motion to, approve the exhibit A, WWE. Proposal for engineering services.
Second?
I'll second it.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the White Water Engineer exhibit. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
What you think?
Next item, correspondence discussion. Do you have any additional correspondence?
I do not.
Sasha?
No, sir.
Excellent. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
Motion been made. And seconded to adjourn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned at 6:15.
Good work. Thanks for everything.